What is up, CanJam 2022? Thank you again for joining us, everybody out there. We're sorry you couldn't be here in person, but if you can't be here in person, we are here for you, bringing it to you live from SoCal. I am thrilled for our next guest, Chris Shaw from SoCal. He's going to be talking to us about one of my favorite headphones from this show, and also ever. This is a beautiful sounding headphone. The brand new SoCal Utopia. We're calling it 2022 because that's when it came out, but it's the SoCal Utopia, the brand new one. So thank you so much for being here with me, man. Pleasure having you. Yeah. So tell us about this beauty. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration for the design, the materials that you've used, and just the style. Like in all SoCal, the styling is exceptional.
Well, thank you. I mean, obviously, we launched the original Utopia in 2016, and that really just wowed the world. It introduced new technologies. It put us SoCal on the map for headphones, and really haven't taken us off the map, obviously. So when it came to the new headphone, we had a lot of people asking us when we were getting a new headphone, and honestly, we just need to figure out how to build a better headphone than what we already did,
which was already incredible.
Right. So here we are 6 years later, and again we've kept true to the Utopia styling, but with that is that obviously over the last 6 years we've introduced a lot of new models, obviously. Clear MG, Celeste, Stellia, and with that came some design cues, and so we really wanted to integrate Utopia into those design cues. And again, with that, obviously, we at SoCal don't just launch something to launch something.
Sure, of course.
If we launch something, it's because it's better.
Right.
And so here we are.
Yes, and it is. I got to hear this morning, so I only had enough time maybe to listen to 4 pairs of headphones this entire 2 days because I've just been busy streaming and trying to keep up with the pace to bring stuff content-wise for everybody out there that couldn't make it. And this was one of my favorite listens, as I had said, and I listened to it on several amplifiers. I listened to it on solid state, I listened to it off of tubes, and everything sounds so right about this. I mean, it still brings the detail and emotion that the original Utopia was bringing, but I think it also does it with a little more musicality, I guess. I don't like to use that word because it's overused a lot, but there's a little more bass, it sounds like, and a little more, I don't know, life to it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, we definitely take a lot of feedback from our end consumers. I mean, this is very important. I mean, if we are not building what they want, then why build it, right? And so with this is that we've developed some new technologies. We've looked at, our R&D team is always busy looking for something new and crazy. And so with that is that you're right. We've got a little bit more emphasis in the bottom end, and again we also fixed up some stuff up in the upper frequencies.
Like maybe the upper mid-range sounds a little bit pulled back a touch. It sounds, it's nice.
We've always had this reputation because of the raw materials that we use, like beryllium as an example in the Utopia, of having this reputation of being a little quote unquote bright. So again, we don't want that. We want to be as natural as possible.
Right. And I think it's interesting because in my mind, you can get that reputation, and any brand can get that reputation, but in reality, and I've said this on many of my videos, that just means you haven't found the synergistic amp pairing and DAC pairing yet, because if some people had said that about the previous Utopia, and when you take that Utopia though and you put it with the right tube amp, it's a whole different ball game. So don't ever, I guess the first take and experience on everything, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because with the right amplifier pairing you can find that synergistic sound that maybe is perfect for you. But this though, out of the box, probably isn't going to require as much searching for that synergy, because it's very synergistic sounding right out the gate.
Oh, and it's absolutely amazing. Again, I have to throw credits to our R&D department. Again, they are probably the hardest working guys within our company. But the fact is again, we wanted to be able to have a headphone that is the most revealing headphone out there, and something that really shows the differences between a cable or a DAC amplifier, to really emphasize that perfect pairing, as you said.
And be able to sense those changes in the system as you're switching them out. How has the response been to the new overall look and design so far?
Obviously here at CanJam, we launched this 2 days ago. we have a booth here. The lines have been 2, 3, 4, 5 deep, just waiting to listen to this. So we'd like to think it's been very, very positive.
I would agree, because I've walked by when to go get a snack or a Starbucks or whatever, and it's always been packed. And their booth is amazing. They have large monitors, perfect, like basically a horseshoe type setup with all kinds. And you didn't just bring the flagship; you brought like the whole lineup, and
of course,
and all kinds of different amplifiers and ranging prices and levels of performance. So they have one of the coolest booths here. So if you didn't get to check it out this year, gosh, don't miss the next one or the next chance you have that they're going to be at, because it will be worthwhile experience to check it out. So, all right, so cool. So take me through, let's look at this bad boy a little bit, because it's sexy. I'm going to use the word sexy. Okay?
Sure, we'll take sexy.
Because it is a sexy headphone. So if we're looking at this here, and okay, so talk to me about the grill structure. So we had said that the grills on the open backs are...
So with it is that, as I mentioned earlier, is, we between the time we launched the original Utopia and now, is that we've launched a few other models, and we have some design cues. Again, the radiance of coming off of the headphone itself, and so with that is that we have kind of a circular pattern on our closed back units, and again with the Clear MG launching roughly March of 2021, is that we wanted to show the family, and so in this case, right off the bat, is that you notice the hexagonal patterns coming off the cone itself, and again that is paired also with the diamond pattern on the middle. Now, what's unique about this is that we maintain the diamond pattern because again this follows the styling cues of our home
current family. That's true.
And also into our Pro Audio collections as well. So again, we wanted that symmetry across all of our collections and all of our headphones.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about this before we went live, is that a lot of us in the head-fi world, we know and love FoCal for their headphones, but man, they have a Pro line for studio use, for professional audio mixing. They've got car audio. They've got their in-home audiophile grade, superb speakers. You got name, you got your own amplification. I mean, you're a major brand in the audio world and a passionate brand in the audio world.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you kept the beautiful spring load action, which is great for comfort. Now, talk to me about this crushed carbon fiber, because it's going to be hard for you guys out there to see, but if you saw the marketing photos that I put up on our Instagram over the last couple days, or when you launched, I guess it was, about 2 days ago, the pictures really truly show off this carbon fiber. It's just beautiful.
Well, thank you. I mean, so with it is, I mean, we've done certain things, obviously, with the Utopia previous models, is that we've used a woven carbon fiber in the past, and that was not only form, but it was also function. The fact is that we have different drivers in the Utopia that are heavier, so we had to offset that weight by using carbon fiber. But since we've launched the original Utopia, is that we are changing our branding, is that we are moving more towards that luxury goods. We want to be that high end, whether it's a watch or a car or now headphones. And so with this model is that we use a forged carbon fiber. And again, this, some people call it, that we forged carbon fiber. Well, the fact is that this style is actually called forged carbon fiber.
Yep.
So it's basically flakes of carbon fiber that are compressed.
It's so pretty too.
And and this is actually, in the car world,
it's more common.
This is becoming more common
in the luxury vehicles.
Yeah. So again, we wanted to follow that, being that we are a luxury brand.
I love it. It's something that the casual. I'm gonna take my hat off, fellow nice shaped head like mine, and I'm just gonna put it on so people can see. But the fit, and I've always said this about FoCal headphones, like many headphones you wear and you like them, but you may not feel like they look right on you. And FoCal headphones, when you wear them, you feel like they look right on you. You know what I mean? At least for me personally.
And I mean, the idea is that, and
beautiful.
And you'll notice that all of our headbands in our line are the same headband. The fact is that really from here to here, we have over 100 parts in here.
Yeah.
And the idea with this is that we wanted to be able to accommodate roughly 95% of the population out there, so that when you wear it, it's not only sounds amazing, but it's so comfortable to wear.
And it looks good when you wear it too. Like there's a lot of headphones that look and sound amazing when you hold them and then when you listen, but when you wear them, they look kind of goofy because they're, you know, the shape or whatever. And Focal, I don't know, that's not the case. Some people don't care about that, and, you know, I get it, but for those of you that like style, these have so much style. So ear pads pop off the same way the old ones do, I would assume.
Correct, yeah.
So
yeah, and
great
we're
switchable system.
We're still using the lambskin ear cups for comfort.
Beautiful. And you kept the red in there. It's not as easy to see in this lighting conditions, but similar to the original Utopia.
Right.
Yeah,
so as I mentioned,
cool.
is again, we have a very unique motor structure for this unit, and again, some new technologies into the motor structure as well. But again, the red is very iconic with our Utopia branding.
Right. Right. And so we got a little, I believe, if I was reading correctly, we also incorporated some copper for better reliability, as well as, it probably adds a little extra warmth to the sound too, knowing copper maybe?
So it does. So really is that, and again, we're comparing what's old versus what's new.
Right.
So the previous model used a copper-clad aluminum voice coil, and again, we did this for lightness. The fact is that we wanted not only the beryllium, but the whole moving mass itself had to be very fast, very quick, very responsive.
Which they are very fast.
And again, hence why we've received a lot of our rewards for our products.
Very fast.
But
sound.
with that is that again, when we're designing drivers, is that most people don't realize that to develop low-end frequencies, we need to add a little bit of weight.
Right.
Or more weight. So with that is that we now did, instead of the copper-clad aluminum, is that we're now doing that mixture of copper and aluminum. Kind of a 70-30 kind of split, and by adding that little bit of mass is that we were able to emphasize that low-end frequency.
And you can definitely hear an improvement for low-end frequencies for sure, which for those of you that like a little more oomph in the lower end, you're going to be very pleased with these. Let's check and see if we have some questions from the chat real quick. Yeah, Christopher says he's giving you kudos. He says, it sounds like they took a step in the right direction. Kudos to Focal. Christopher is a proud Focal professional OG owner, and then he upgraded to, I believe, the Clear MG Professional, so he's a Focal fan. I know for sure. And so, yeah, Sheldon T said the original Utopia wasn't the perfect match for him, but you should check these ones out, Sheldon, because if you haven't heard them yet, I think knowing the type of music that you like, because it crosses over with the music I like, I think you're going to like the extra bass emphasis with these. Yeah, and it looks like Christopher's really looking forward to hearing this one as well. So we'll take more questions. So any other questions you have, I'm gonna ask some more questions about the headphones and just get to know our guests a little bit more. But as you have more questions, just feel free to pop them into the chat, and I'll be checking over and looking at them. So tell us a little bit. We'll divert away from these beautiful headphones before I start drooling on them, but for a second, and tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about, what do you do when you're not, you travel a lot.
I do.
You're on the road for Focal probably the majority, right?
I get into an airplane like most people get into a car.
Yeah, so, exactly. So what do you do when you have some time to yourself? Do you have anything you really enjoy? You love cars. I
am a car guy. I got into this industry actually through automotive audio. I was 14 years old, and that mini truck drove by with the subwoofers, and I was hooked for life.
Yeah.
I got 30 years of car audio behind me, and then with that, I was loving it, but I wanted to expand my horizons, and so with that is that I was able to join the Focal team, and with that is I was starting to be able to migrate over to headphones, and then from there I moved to custom installation product, floor sanding product, again our big $250,000 speakers, and now pro audio. So it's been really surreal as a career.
That's cool, man. Yeah. That's a cool story. Well, and it's cool because automotive audio can create an incredible experience too, especially if you spend a lot of time in your car. And getting that right is really imperative if you want to have a great experience in your car. So, and then it transfers over into everything else you do. So it sounds like you found a good home.
Yes, like I said, and when I do go home, I just love to drive. So I'm a car guy. My dad was a car guy, and so I was able to really put my two passions together into one, which again has just expanded my career.
You like muscle cars? You like luxury cars? What do you like? What are your cars' favorites?
I appreciate the classic cars.
Yeah.
I've worked on virtually almost every car that you could think of, from everything from $500 to $500,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love technology, so I like newer European vehicles and stylings, and
Very
I like
cool.
going fast too. So
Yeah, very cool. I love it. Awesome. All right, let's check and see if we have another question. Okay, let's see. This is a good question. Many have said that the new Utopia has a bigger soundstage than the OG Utopia. Just wondering how FoCal managed to do that without increasing the driver size.
Oh, that's a wonderful question. I mean, so with that is that we actually did that with the styling cues. Is that by opening up the mesh of sorts on the outside,
exposing the driver more, right? Yeah.
It did allow us to open up the sound stage by doing that.
I noticed that with the Clear MG as well, and that was a part of it as well.
Exactly.
So, very cool. Great question. Thank you, sir, for that great question. Okay, cool. So when you're in your car jamming, going fast, what's your soundtrack? What do you like to listen to?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. I mean, and we kind of revert back to my travels. But the best part about this is I get paid to listen to music and watch movies. Right? I mean, it's unbelievable. So the fact is that today I could be listening to top 40. Tomorrow it's EDM. I do have my roots. I'm a huge Elton John fan.
I love Elton John too.
I've only seen 2 artists ever.
Final show's coming up here. Hey, so sorry about that, guys. We had a little power outage here and we lost power for a second. We are back with you. Hopefully you guys are still with us. Looks like some of you guys are. So that was, everybody's packing up. The show's about to end here in 2 minutes. So we lost power for a second. Apologies. All right. So where were we before the lights went? Oh, music, soundtrack. Yes. So, what is your soundtrack when you're driving?
I mean, like I said, I've only seen 2 artists ever, more than once in concert. Obviously, Garth Brooks puts on an amazing show. You have to go if you haven't been, whether you like country or not.
Yeah, Garth Brooks is pretty amazing.
Elton John is my soul, though. I mean, I absolutely love him. But I appreciate everything. I mean, the fact that, again, I can switch from classical to dance to country to rock, all within 4 or 5 minutes.
My daughter, I love Elton John. I have a majority of his recordings on vinyl even. So my daughter loves Elton John as well, and she's recently become in love with Elvis Presley. But she's a big fan of Dua Lipa. Of all,
Me too.
I am too. But my daughter just loves Dua Lipa. So when that Elton John Dua Lipa kind of thing came out, she's just like enamored with it.
Yeah, it's again, pairing of 2 worlds, right?
It's cute to see how much she likes it. I'm trying to develop a future little audio file. So cool. Well, I love it. Let's see if there's any questions. They might be catching up with us here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're back here. All right, cool, awesome. Okay, so what's the next plan for FoCal? I mean, obviously don't share any insider stuff or anything like that, but do you guys have some cool things in the works, maybe in the speaker realm world or headphone world? Always, probably.
Oh man, I mean, again, without getting myself terminated.
Yeah, don't get in trouble. No, don't get yourself in trouble.
I mean, things are exciting. I mean, the next, from now for probably the next 24 months, FoCal is we have so much exciting stuff coming out. And
you hear that, guys? Stay tuned.
And again, that's not just headphones. That's all of our collections.
All of your brand, the whole brand together.
Yeah.
So, and you guys acquired Name Audio. When did you guys acquire them? That was a few years back.
Yeah. So we actually purchased Name Audio back in 2011.
Right. That's right.
And the idea behind this was that it really made sense. Obviously we'd been building home speakers and other speakers for car and headphones and so on like that, since the late 70s. And we just found this company that had the same common values as us, internal R&D,
right.
98% of their products being built by hand in-house.
Right.
And it was that pairing without electronics, we don't have FoCal, and without speakers, they don't have electronics. So,
exactly.
So it was this perfect marriage.
Yeah, and the synergy that is really there from a sound perspective, obviously. So you guys work good and hard on that too.
Yeah. So and with that is that again, they are separate companies. You
Sure.
know, one is French and one is English, and we've always
Yeah.
known that little bit of conflict over the years, right?
Right, sure.
But what that is that we are now working again with that synergy,
Yeah.
where we develop new products based on voicing of electron or new speakers on name voicing,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah, and I think you can hear that in your most recent development. So you guys are doing a good job. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's see here. Any change in bass dynamics punch on that? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier in the stream. There's definitely some more lower end bass, absolutely, in the 2022 version. So if you haven't heard it, you're definitely going to want to listen to it, because there's definitely, we talked about how they listened into the development, and they're listening to the consumers, and that was something that consumers were requesting with our, next Utopia.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we had 6 years of time to collect data.
Data, yeah.
And read reviews and talk with the public at shows like this.
Yeah.
Which is, again, very important for us to have that one-on-one conversations with them. And again, we want to build product that people want to have in their homes
and love and enjoy.
Love and enjoy, exactly.
Absolutely, excellent. So great question. I'll add that to the broadcast. We talked about the look a little bit too. So basically, the look we discussed earlier in the stream was to be brought more in line with the rest of the current family. So we talked about the grille and the reasonings why behind it. It also opens up the sound a little bit. So and it also matches like the clear MG. So the only difference is really though, like from the color scheme. Well, actually, there's a lot because it's black, but you still have the red behind it that you can still see. That's part of their line. It doesn't come across as well on camera here, but if you look at the pictures online, you'll see that a lot of the foundation of that Utopia is still there, with some very more modernized changes that have brought it in line with their current lineup. So that's kind of what we discussed earlier, pretty much.
Exactly.
So great question. Thank you for that question. And then also another thing too with that, there's a lot of audiophiles that like that more, I wouldn't say this is a subdued headphone, because when you hold this in person, like it's catching every glint of light, like literally like you're holding a precious jewel, like I think you called it a diamond reflection almost. So, I mean, and if you've ever seen black diamonds before in real life, that's what this gives me a vibe of, is black diamonds reflecting on a ring. So it's not going to come up as well because the camera is mostly focused on us since we're talking, but if you go look at their pictures that they release with it, you're going to get a real look at it. And then when I review this on our YouTube channel, you're going to see my 4K B-roll, and you're going to see all of the subtleties and the details of this headphone. So I would say that this is not necessarily as subdued as you think it is comparatively, but all black. There's a lot of Johnny Cash fans out there as well. So all black. I was talking to Justin Weber earlier. He's like, man, this thing's sexy. I like the all black. And he's a big Johnny Cash fan.
Of course.
He makes amp sound there. In fact, I listened to these on one of his amps. It's phenomenal. Okay, we have one person asking about price increase, which it seems as if everything is a pricing increasing. So, I mean, I would imagine that's cost of doing business.
It comes down to raw materials, inflation, the standard answers for why everything's increased, obviously. Shipping,
inflation,
and so on.
Shipping, parts, materials, labor.
Exactly.
The whole works.
Yeah.
So, and also R&D.
Well,
too often, nobody talks about R&D and the amount of money that goes into developing a new product.
And I'm guilty of it as well.
I am too. I'm guilty about it as well. So
yeah, again, we've had our engineers working. And on average, it takes us roughly, anywhere between 3 and 4 years to develop a new technology.
That's a lot of labor dollars. So, I mean, those are all factors. I mean, nobody wants to spend more. We all get it. We all want to get whatever we can for the most affordable price. But from a business perspective, you have to think about cost of doing business in today's environment and the amount of research and development that has to go into it. So there you go. Thank you for the compliment, sir. We love you for watching this channel. I appreciate it. I try to do the best I can. I don't know if I'm a pro. I just do what I can. So I got to get one of these for review. So I got to talk to Jason about bringing one of these back, because I got to film this and I got to hear it at home with my rigs, because
he may not get it back.
I'm thinking that, but then that's probably why he's gonna be like, I don't know. No, he let me review the other one, but the most recent model. But these are special. These really are. I got to hear them more outside of show conditions, but I'm really impressed with them. You guys did a phenomenal
thank you.
job, and you know, this whole place is closing down right now, and I don't want our power to get shut off again. So I'm probably going to see if there's any other questions. Then I'm going to call it a wrap because everybody's packing up, and it's officially over. I'm so sad that CanJam is over, but I'm super happy that we had you with us,
Awesome.
man.
Well, thank you
and
for
this is a
having
perfect
me.
way to close it out with one of the best headphones I've ever heard. And you know, if you didn't get a chance to hear it at CanJam, the Source AV, we have a huge 10,000 square foot showroom right here in Southern California, Torrance, California. And you know, come by. We have it, and we have over 40, 50 amps to hear it with, something like that. So you got a lot of selection and other headphones to listen to as well. So come down and see us, and once again, we appreciate you very much.
Thank
and we
you.
appreciate all of you for watching. And I guess until next time, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned. We will be having another video drop on this channel probably next week. Thank you guys all for hanging with us at CanJam 2022. Cheers, and have a great rest of your weekend.